lot of priorities. A lot of really good priorities. People will be very, very happy.
What are the top three?
So we have a lot. We're very strong in immigration. We're very strong in healthcare. And we're looking at jobs. Big league jobs.
That was President-elect Donald Trump earlier today on Capitol Hill, detailing his administration's priorities. Now, Mr. Trump, along with Vice President-elect Mike Pence, met with Speaker of the House Paul Ryan during their visit to Washington today. Now, the voters have spoken, and exit polls show that 69% of voters said they were dissatisfied or angry with how the federal government was working. So, what are they going to do to fix it? Here now, RNC Chairman Reince Priebus is with us. Good to see you. By the way, congratulations. This, a lot of people had doubts about a system that you had built since 2012 to get more voters to the polls. Do you feel that it was as successful as you had hoped?
Well, I feel the result was pretty good. But let me just firstly, before I talk about that, you have to start with a great candidate. And if you don't have the change candidate that's authentic and genuine in a change year, you can have all the data and turnout you want. It's not going to work. So it starts with Donald Trump, President-elect Trump, number one. But number two, we've been working for 4 years. We added, I was just looking before this interview, we added 300,000 more Republicans on the voter rolls through party registration in Florida. We also predicted turnout. Try to keep it basic. The most difficult thing you can do mechanically, the data and the people on the ground are important, but you have to figure out what your prediction is for turnout so that you can actually try to figure out how many votes you need in the box in order to win. That's where our operation was dead on accurate. So predicting how many voters you needed. So for example, in Ohio, we thought that we would need 2.745 million voters in Ohio. We achieved 2.771 million votes in Ohio. And I can go through state after state like that, but having the margins down perfectly is where it all begins, and then the process of either adding voters to the rolls and or targeting, or both, is where the targeting and adding people in and then putting those people in the box is the process that we go through, and it's a 4-year program. So it's not just showing up 3 months before an election and saying, let's just start knocking on doors. It's a targeting program that started 4 years ago and culminated with a great candidate who really shocked the world.
What do you make of the 69% of voters say they're dissatisfied, but we'll also go back to the Republican primaries, and 64% of Republicans felt betrayed by the Republican Party. Donald Trump was the outsider, was the change agent, and now he's got to work with many of those same Republicans. Do you foresee any problems, any conflict?
You know, I don't see a lot of problems because I've gotten to know President-elect Trump very well. I know how he interacts with people in private. I know how gracious and personable he is. Look at what happened today. I mean, you don't get to where Donald Trump is, President-elect Trump. I got used to that. You do not get there by being a person who doesn't understand the audience, the situation he's in, and acting in a way that affects the best outcome for his agenda. That's what he's going to do. Let me just say, tangentially to that, the voters spoke, and they elected Republicans in the White House, the Senate, the House, and they did it with great fervor. And so the agenda of our party, and particularly the agenda of President-elect Trump, is going to be the agenda that we pursue because that's what the voters wanted. So we're not going to water down the agenda.
Is that going to be the Trump agenda?
It's going to be the Trump agenda. He has the mandate. And so I just want people to understand that this isn't a matter of watering down our promises and forgetting about the will of the American people. The American people deserve the agenda of the Republican Party, because that's what they asked for.
All right, let me ask you this. Have you spoken to Donald Trump, or you're right, President-elect Trump? Have you spoken with him about a position in his cabinet? It's been rumored you're being considered for chief of staff. Is that something you'd be interested in? I know you've gotten close to him over these many months. Would you want to do that?
That's not something I'm talking about. I think it's something that, a lot of newspapers speculate about. I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
Has he asked you if you would come on board?
I don't think he's doing a lot of that kind of talking.
Why are you hedging? He did ask you. I'm sure he asked you.
No, listen, the job right now is to make sure that we have a successful transition, that the teams get in place as quickly as possible. The inauguration is something that gets planned right now, and it's just not something that people are talking about.
All right. Reince Priebus, you deserve a big congratulations. And I know you did get close with Mr. Trump in the course of this process. And it's going to be very interesting in the next, well, certainly the first 100, 180 days he's in office. Thanks for being with us.
That's right.
And coming up, very important question of the day, and we need your help.